Alright everybody, what's going on? It's Thundershot and we're here today to talk about more Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse news. But real quick before this video gets underway, I want to point out two things. Number one, what you're seeing in the background is the game Raging Blast 2 being played on the PS3. That's just going to be the background noise for the topic today. And number two, for any of you guys going to see Battle of the Gods in the USA, I'm actually going to be seeing it August 4th. And if you guys live around the Missouri area, I'm going to be seeing it at the Osage Village 5 Cinna. That's the closest theater to me that actually is showing Battle of the Gods, the English dub of course, on August 4th at 7 p.m. Central Time. Like I said, it's the closest one. I'll be there watching that one. And yeah, it's by the Lake of the Ozarks, if any of you guys have it. But anyways, if any of you guys happen to be in that area and are going to go see the movie, I'll be there at that one, doing that thing at 7 on August 4th. Anyways, let's get down into the news. So, Dragon Ball Xenoverse had another interview come out. This interview was done a while ago, but it was done by a French website who just released it. And then the fellows over at Saiyan Island went ahead and translated it. So, yeah, let's go ahead and do this. I'm going to read you guys the questions and then the answers to the interview and give you my thoughts on some of the stuff. But it says the original interview was in Japanese and had French subtitles, and Saiyan Island translated it to English. So anyways, let's get started. So far, what we've seen in Dragon Ball Xenoverse comes from a prototype version, or the alpha version. Will the game change much visually? Will the graphics be improved, or have we already seen something close to the final result? And the answer to that is, what we showed was a preview. We're still working on it. Obviously, graphics, expressions, actions, moves, everything will continue to evolve, especially on PS4 and Xbox One through their power. People can expect to see the graphics improve more compared to what they have seen so far. They can trust the team to surprise. The graphics are really going to be better, which is a good sign, because even the videos we've seen, the graphics have seemed okay, but if they upgrade obviously to what the PS4 and Xbox One can handle, that's going to be stellar. But anyways, moving on. Speaking of graphics, what are the resolutions and frame rates for the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PS3, and Xbox 360 versions? 900p or 1080p, 30 frames per second, or 60 frames per second? Now this question in particular was important to me because I wanted to see if they were going to take full advantage of the PS4 instead of keeping it kind of limited back with the Xbox One, but I've had that discussion before. Anyways, it says we work together on the old and new generation of consoles, and we try to offer the same experience at the end, or at the moment. We strive for the best possible quality, especially in the new generation, and offer 1080p. At the frame rate, frames per second, obviously, we make several tests, we make adjustments so that it's fluid on all systems. Maybe we can give you the exact resolutions and frame rate at a later time. That wasn't the question I was talking about. Never mind, we'll get there. Do you think the number of available characters in a fighting game like Dragon Ball Xenoverse is important for the community? Do you think there will be enough to satisfy fans of the franchise with a substantial roster? Now, this is a really important question, because that's one of the main things everybody loved about Budokai Tenkaichi 3 is it had the most characters by far. You had people from Dragon Ball, you had people from Z, you had people from GT, and then you had a bunch of what-if characters and what-if fusion characters that were super funny and stuff like that. So obviously characters are important, but their answer to this question is the number of available characters at present is obviously not complete. We try to offer as much as possible, but we cannot yet make a specific announcement for the moment. We try to please the fans as possible and offer a wider content. Now remember, this is translated to English from French after it was conducted in Japanese, so I'm not saying these wrong, I'm not pronouncing anything wrong to the best of my knowledge, it's just how it's written. So what do we have to make of that? We try to please the fans as possible and offer wider content. They're trying to make as many characters as possible. Presumably if they're ahead of schedule and have a lot of time left, they're going to make more is what I hear from this, but they're basically just going to make as many characters as they can afford to without sacrificing any of the game's quality between now and when they want to release this game. So that's what I get out of that answer. Do you include music from the anime in this production? If so, will Europe finally be able to enjoy it? Now, I don't know about you guys, but I get a ton of people asking me on my videos when I play Raging Blast 2, but like, how did you get Budokai Tenkaichi 3 music? Well, I didn't. The Dragon Ball Z games have just been reusing music over and over again. They either take songs from the anime, or they take an original Budokai, or they take Tenkaichi soundtrack, and then that's been replayed, and that was redubbed over into Raging Blast 1. Then they use the same music again in Raging Blast 2. It's been used on a few other Dragon Ball Z games, so we get a lot of the same music over and over again. But anyways, the answer to this question, oh no, this is where he asked, yeah, this is the one where he asked about music from the anime, so it's music from the anime in this one. He says, in Dragon Ball Xenoverse, we'll do something completely new, for sounds and music. We start from scratch and adapt it with this new Dragon Ball game. It will not be the same music as in the anime. In addition, we are doing something completely new to all continents and will use the same original music, whether it's Japan, America, Europe, and other territories. So America and Japan and other places were getting anime music and this really cool music, and Europe wasn't getting that for some reason, and they preferred... If you guys are in Europe and you understand the situation, please let me know, because I'm kind of ignorant on it. But they preferred the other soundtracks, but they weren't able to get them for some reason. I'm not 100% sure. But the same music will be done across all platforms, and it's not going to be the same music we've been hearing since however long ago when the music started. Like I said, same music was used in Raging Blast 1, 2. I'm not sure if it made it to Ultimate Tenkaichi. It probably did. And then a couple of the games, they're finally throwing all that out and bringing in a bunch of new music. Which, even though the old music is pretty solid, I think it's still kind of cool that we get a bunch of new stuff. Anyways, there's been debate on whether this Dragon Ball game mixes combat and exploration. Is this the case? Now, again, important question, because being able to explore around is kind of a big deal. So the answer to this is it will not just be fighting, we can also explore new environments. With Dragon Ball Xenoverse, we want to offer a new Dragon Ball experience, not just for fans, but for everyone. Obviously, there will be a lot of fighting in the game, and other things which have not been revealed. When people discover, they will be very excited to see what kind of game and what kind of gameplay they can experience. So, it's not for sure we are going to do this and not this answer, right? It's still very vague. Obviously, the game's still in really early stages, but they're telling us we'll be able to explore around, we'll be able to fly. Now, whether that's flying from point A to point B to ask somebody else a question to continue the mission, or whether that's like a hub world where we pick where we want to go and then work from there, or whether that's full-on Grand Theft Auto, Fallout, Skyrim, exploration, you do whatever you want, whenever you want, kind of thing. We don't know yet, but it is promising that they say exploration will be in the game, at least to an extent. Moving on, can you tell us a bit more about gameplay? For example, will 2 against 2 be possible? If this is the case, the player can control multiple characters at once? I'm sorry, like I said, it's written weird. I'm just trying to make out of it what I can. But anyways, will you be able to control multiple or more character than one at a time, I guess is what he's asking, if 2 versus 2 is possible. So, excuse me. The answer says, I think the Dragon Ball series primarily has 1v1 fighting, which is true. On the other hand, there are also several group fights. We cannot yet reveal the exact number at the moment, but we plan several possibilities for fights that we will propose. This is not yet the right time to say it. So, they're still working on it. I'm guessing they're going to try to get as many as they can, or as many as they feel necessary, but they don't know what that number is yet. But from what I'm getting, we can expect at least 2 versus 2, probably 3v3 given footage we've seen before. Fights in the game, like 3 versus 3, and we're still not sure. I'm assuming that that's like Battle of Z-type, where 3 people are on the field at the same time. That's what I would prefer, instead of the Raging Blast 2, where you tag out and stuff like that. But we'll see. Like I said, it's all still a we'll see, because Xenoverse is still really early in production. But it is, again, promising that they say there will probably at least be 2v2 fights. Again, all this stuff is not guaranteed 100% confirmed to be awesome, but with the direction it's pointing in, it definitely has a lot of potential to be awesome. So I am liking what I'm hearing so far. Anyways, just a couple questions left. Is it difficult to develop and optimize the same game on multiple platforms at the same time? This is the question I meant earlier. This is the one that kind of Debbie Downered me a little bit. But anyways, he says, yes, it is quite difficult for us to work on all consoles at the same time. We are working on not 1, but 4 different platforms. So we must find the right balance to provide the same content, but the same quality. This is a big challenge for us, but we can assure you that we will find solutions for all these constraints. For PS4 and Xbox One, it will be the same story. The game is developed at the same time, and the consoles have their own development department. But we try to take advantage of all the features on these 2 consoles while having the same quality. Now that statement right there, I don't know what to think, because what I would like is for them to take full advantage of the PS4's processing power and really make the graphics look nice, and then let the Xbox One do what it can. Because I'm going to go ahead and kind of back out of this for 1 second. Watch Dogs, right? And if you're not a hardcore gamer, just bear with me. Watch Dogs, a year ago at E3, last year's E3, Watch Dogs trailer was revealed for PlayStation 4, and it looked super amazing. The graphics were mind-blowingly awesome. Well, Watch Dogs, the game gets released, and the graphics aren't as good as they were at E3 a year ago. And the reason this is because Microsoft paid Ubisoft, the people who make Watch Dogs, to dumb down their graphics on the PS4, so that way the Xbox One, which has worse graphics than the PS4, wouldn't look as bad, because they would look the same on both consoles. And what I'm waiting for is a game to come out on both consoles where the PS4 is clearly doing everything it can do, because the PS4 will look a lot better in that regard. So I'm hoping they do that with Xenoverse. I hope they let Xenoverse on the PS4 look as great as it possibly can, and they don't try to make them look the exact same on both consoles. But again, we'll see. With that answer, it's still kind of iffy. Anyways, to finish his answer, he says, he said, we will work with this in mind right now, and we will continue in this direction, and I think players will have fun on all consoles. Now, he did say the story would be the same on PS4 and Xbox One. Does that mean they're going to do a little bit less, or does that mean people might get gypped or not as much on the PS3 and Xbox 360? I'm not sure, but that's what it sounds like. For me personally, it's probably not going to matter because I'll be getting this game on PS4, but I don't know if you people who still play the PS3 and Xbox 360, which I do, are going to get less content. Again, that's still to be cleared up in the future. Final question. Battle of Z literally disappointing fans of the Dragon Ball franchise on all consoles. Can you say a few words to reassure the community and give hope to the more skeptical? We understood Battle of Z reviews and all comments from the fans. We took into account our game as well as the feedback from prior games and will not disappoint the fans and make this game a masterpiece for the Dragon Ball franchise. And we can ensure those that were disappointed with Battle of Z will not be there with. And then the dude doing the interview says, promise? He says, yes. We've heard Dragon Ball fans around the globe, and we have great responsibility to them. And we promise we will not disappoint. So that's going to go ahead and conclude this interview. I know this video has been going on a little while so far, so I'm going to try to wrap it up here pretty quick. But so far, most of it, to me, looks pretty promising. I'm not disappointed in any way, except for the possibility that PS3 and PS4 might be getting less, or not PS3 and PS4, PS3 and Xbox 360 might not be getting as much, but I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section down below if you have any questions about the questions in this interview or any of the answers. Go ahead and let me know in the comment section down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, guys. Hit the subscribe button if you're new around here. I'm going to continue doing Dragon Ball Z Xenoverse and the new Dragon Ball Z movie that's been announced for 2015 news as it gets released. So that's going to wrap it up for me. I want to thank everyone for coming out today. Hope you enjoyed. As always, I'm Thundershot. One last time, August 4th at the Osage Beach 5 Cinema for Battle of the Gods if you want to meet me there. And I'm out. Peace, guys.